Okay, so this session is recorded for purposes of improvement and to also help myself and help others be able to view this session if they're not able to attend. And I will go ahead and move on to the topic and start everything. Okay. So welcome to my Puppy Potty Training Made Easy Proven Tips for Success webinar. And I thank you guys for attending. But this webinar is basically going to go over potty training to make it easier for you as a new parent or a current parent to help you with the whole potty training process. And before I go into that, I want to tell a little bit about myself. I have owned dogs for about 12 years, and I've been training various breeds for about 6 years. I've always had a love for dogs, and I actually started with PetSmart, and I worked there for a while and then moved over to a 24-hour veterinary hospital where I learned a little bit more about dog behaviors and how to handle dogs with different situations, different breeds. And at one point, I was actually a vet tech student too. I absolutely forgot all about this. But I was a vet tech student. I helped with spay and neuter process, drawing blood, vaccines, basically what a vet tech would do. That's what I did for a while. And I totally forgot all about that. So that's kind of a little bit about me. And then now we're going to move over to why potty training is essential. And the reason why it's essential is because it's one of the first major milestones that's going to help them become a well-prepared puppy or dog in the future, meaning that they'll have less accidents. And with less accidents, it's less stress for you and a happier and more confident dog. And in order for you to understand how to properly potty train your puppy, you have to also understand their needs as well. So what I mean by this is that when it comes to potty training, you need to be able to take them out immediately after they wake up, after meals and drinking water, after play sessions, and every 2 to 3 hours, depending on how old the puppy is. But understanding these needs and understanding that if you take them out at a certain time or when it's expected to happen, it will help lessen the chance of you having accidents inside the house. So again, immediately after they wake up, take them out to go potty. After meals and drinking water, you want to take them out as well. After play sessions, you want to take them out. Sometimes while I'm playing with them, I will take them out to go potty and then come back inside and play with them again and then take them out to go potty again too. So you want to do this and create a consistent basis where they can go and potty because puppies get very excited when they're playing and they will go and potty on their own when you're in the middle of playing. So you want to catch on and you want to prevent it from happening by taking them out more often. And then the signs that I would say to keep an eye out on is sniffing, circling, or whining. So when they are ready to poop or pee, they're usually sniffing for an area to go do their duties, or they start circling or they start whining. Sometimes some of them, if they're smart enough and they're trained, or they're just smart enough, they will know how to head straight to the door to let you know that they need to go. And then when you start to establish a routine or you start to create a potty schedule by taking them out every time they wake up, every time they eat, and every time they play, that's already a routine. That's creating structure for them, and that's what you want to do with puppies. You want to be able to create structure so they get used to it. And when it comes to creating structures, it's not just only when they potty, you also eat. Because when you can create a structure to when they eat, that will help you with also potty training them. So when to eat, the feeding should always be at the same time in the morning, at lunch, or before bed. You want to make sure you feed them consistently and you don't change it around because if you do, it will throw the puppies off a lot. And what I usually do is no food or water 1 to 2 hours before bed. So what that means is if, for example, if you go to bed by 8 o'clock, by 7 o'clock, try not to let them have any more food or any water at that time. And when you do feed, I know there are a lot of people out there who their puppies don't eat all in one setting, so that they tend to just leave the food out so that the puppy can eat on or eat it throughout the day. But you actually don't want to do that, because then that means that they will always have something in their system, and it will cause them to have more accidents more frequently. So then it's usually recommended that if you feed them right then and there, and whatever they're finished, and if they run off, then you just put it away, and then they'll just have to wait until later to eat again. Now, also, because if you do leave the food out, sometimes they can start to attract more bacteria or start to grow bacteria. So it's just better for you to just put the food away to create less accidents and to also prevent like any bacterial growth on there. And then when to potty as well. When it comes to pottying, you want to take them out more often the younger they are. And usually the rule of thumb is 1 hour for every month until they are able to hold it for about 6 to 8 hours. So for example, if you have a puppy that's about 2 to 3 months old, they can possibly hold their bladder for probably 2 to 3 hours. But I usually just recommend when they're around 2 to 4 months, you want to take them out 1 to 2 hours. And then after the 4 month period, then you could change it to 2 to 3 hours. It depends on you and it depends on the dog. If the dog or the puppy is able to hold it longer, that's perfectly fine. And then the example there is an example of a time frame that would be provided. So for example, 6:30 a.m., wake up, take out your puppy, 7 a.m. breakfast, and then take them out again. 10 a.m., mid morning potty break. So this is usually a schedule for somebody who's actually home and they can actually take care of them. It will look completely different if it's somebody else who's not home and they have somebody else take care of their puppy, or they have different time frame, then it's different. And then when it comes to positive reinforcement really helps out with the potty training as well. Because then when you potty train them, you want to give them treats, you want to praise them, you also want to give them play sessions, but only give them play sessions after they have already potty. You don't want to play with them before they go and during the time that they're going, because it's going to confuse them and it's going to make them think that it's playtime and it's not time for me to go potty. And then you also want to avoid punishments for accidents. You don't want the puppy to think that when they go potty, it's a bad thing. You want them to feel and understand that going potty somewhere else is a good thing and not inside the house. So always try to avoid punishments. I know there are people or other trainers out there who tells you to, do certain things to the puppies to kind of teach them not to poop or pee there. Like I've heard of people telling to stuff their dog's nose in that area that they pissed or they pooped at, to kind of let them know. But I say do not do that, because that actually doesn't really help the puppy learn. If anything, it causes more fear upon them. And then when they go potty, you also want to teach them a cue. For example, you want to tell them either go potty, bathroom, or pee or poop. Basically, whenever they go and you see them go, you want to say, yes, good job, and then tell them go potty, or, give them a treat. You always want to make it into like a positive association. And what really works is to also have a clicker. And let me see if I have one here. I don't know exactly where my clicker is at the moment, but it's basically one of those clickers that you would just click to click it. Yeah, I don't have it here, but it's a clicker. And that's what you would use to help you with training them, and it'll be very helpful. And then when it comes to potty training, crate training is actually very important as well. So you want to be able to crate train your puppy to help prevent a lot of accidents from happening. And crate training is actually not just only important when it comes to potty training. Crate training is actually very important as well, just to get the puppy used to being in a confined area. For example, if they have to stay at the veterinary hospital, or they have to visit a vet, or go to a grooming appointment, they're not going to always be free roaming. They're going to be in a crate or a kennel, and you want to make sure that they're comfortable being in one. So that's why it's good to crate train as well, because it'll help with those incidents. So when it comes to using a crate, you want to make sure that it is appropriately sized for your puppy, to the point where they can stand up, turn around, and lie down properly. Excuse me, sir. What I usually recommend is you can buy a crate that is currently the size of your puppy at the moment, or you can buy a crate that your puppy will grow into. And you can just buy a crate with a divider and just divide the section off so that the puppy can be in that divided section and just stay in that section until they actually grow bigger, and then you can extend the divider or remove it completely. But this is one way that you can crate train them in a bigger crate, or have them in a bigger crate, and that will help. So crate training is really important to potty training, because, for example, if you take the puppy out to go poop or pee outside, and they didn't do anything, or they didn't poop or they didn't pee, what you would do is you would come back and you would put them in a crate, and you put them in for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then take them out to go poop and pee again to see if they will go do the duties. If they don't, then you come back and you do it all over again and put them in a crate. So that's why it's very effective, because it'll help. Because most of the time, puppies don't try to, or I can't say they avoid soiling their sleeping area, but they try not to soil their sleeping area, because they don't want to dirty that spot. But it does tend to happen. It's just less likely if you crate train them properly, and you also use it as like a little break area for them to stay at while they're waiting for themselves to be able to release. But that's what a crate would be, and it's effective in those ways. The other alternative, if you don't want to use a crate, is to use baby gates. A kennel run, a kennel run is basically just a really big kennel outside of the backyard, or you could use in the front yard. I mean, not front yard, in the living room. And then there's also the playpen, and you can actually attach a playpen to a crate, and the playpen will actually help the crate give more room for the crate, so that the puppy can sleep in the crate, but also have room to come out and wander around in a confinement area. And then when there are accidents, that does happen, because accidents do happen, and it's okay. It's totally okay if it does happen. So what I usually recommend to do is to clean the area thoroughly with an enzymatic cleaner. So basically right there, you would see OxiClean. That Bissell is really good at eliminating odor, and the stain and odor remover as well for the Nature's Miracle. These products you can find at either pet stores, or you can find at regular stores, Walmart, Target, Home Depot. You can find it there too. Those are enzymatic cleaners that will help remove odor, but I would say just double check to see if they're actually compatible with the flooring or the carpet that you have, because sometimes some of them don't match well with it, and it can make it worse. But they're usually pretty good with most floorings that I've had it on, because we have wood flooring and we have regular carpets, and I could use both of those items. And then addressing the common challenges, which are basically the frequent accidents that happen. And when they do have frequent accidents, it's probably because you might need to increase the frequency of potty breaks. So you will probably have to take them out more often. It's like what I said earlier, that if they don't go when you take them out, you would have to put them back in a crate or in a confined area, and then take them back out again afterwards. So you will have to do this more consistently and more often until they actually go. And then there are times where regressions does occur, and usually the regression happens around like a 6 to 9 month period, because they're going through that adolescence phase and they seem like they're just regressing back. Just be positive. stay consistent, and sometimes you're probably going to have to revisit the basics, which is starting all over again, taking them out more often so that they can actually go. That will help. And then there's also stubborn puppies, because every breed is different. Some breeds catch on a lot faster, they're a lot easier to potty train, and some breeds are very stubborn where it's just going to take a long time for them to catch on. But it's okay, just be patient. You're going to have to reward them a lot, maybe with like a special treat or a favorite toy, whatever it is that gets the puppy motivated and excited and happy to do what to be able to, you know, do what they're supposed to do. That's going to help a lot. But addressing common challenges are usually the frequent accidents and the regressions and the stubborn puppies, because I've had a lot of clients and a lot of friends and family members who their puppy seems to be doing good one day, and then the next day it's going back to square one where they're having accidents again. And what I usually recommend is maybe we just need to go back to the first step. And the first step is we need to increase the frequency of the potty breaks. Maybe it's because we're allowing them too much free roam around the house when they're not old enough to even hold their bladder and not have an accident. So maybe we need to go back and maybe confine them in a smaller area and not let them have free roam. That might be one of the answers. Whatever it is, you just have to kind of go back to the basics. And then here it is, a testimonial about a puppy that we actually trained. In the picture over here, I don't know if you guys can see, but with the puppy pads right there, he was actually around 2 months old here when his owners always had puppy pads for him. He had about 6 to 8 laid out throughout the bedroom, and he was doing good for a little bit, but then he started having a lot of accidents everywhere, and sometimes it wasn't even on the puppy pads, and it would be outside of the puppy pads. So then it became a problem because the owners are consistently working, they're busy, and they couldn't really keep track of keeping him on a schedule. So what we did was we created a potty schedule regimen and had them follow it. So either if they were home, they would follow the schedule, or if they weren't home, they would have somebody come and help them out. And that's what kind of helped them out. And then gradually it went from having to use 8 puppy pads to to 6 puppy pads. So we kept moving one by one every 2 to 3 days, eventually to the point where it was just only down to 1 puppy pad after 2 weeks. And then the more consistent that they kept following the schedule, within less than 3 weeks, he was fully potty trained. He didn't have any more accidents. He could hold his bladder for about 68 hours, and he was doing really well. The other thing is he used to also steal clothes a lot. So then we also taught him the leave it command, and we played and exercised with him more because he was lacking that physical and mental stimulation. That's why he kept stealing clothes and, you know, doing naughty things. So then we taught him the leave it command, exercise, and played with him more often. And now he doesn't really steal clothes anymore, and he just focuses on toys and exercise only. And here it is, as what I promised. This is the free training tracker and puppy guide. So with the puppy guide, it's basically going to go over like the same thing that I just taught today or just spoke about today. It's about 8 pages total, but 6 pages of helpful tips and information, tips to help you guys with the potty training. And it also contains the potty training tracker, which this tracker here is what we use to help create a regimen for Kimba's owner. Sorry, we put them on this schedule, and we help them determine when they could put him, when they should feed him, or any other accidents or anything that does happen. And this training tracker, potty training tracker, is actually very similar to how veterinarians would also track and when the dogs does come and stay overnight, or when the dogs are in their clinics. This is how they would also keep track of when the dog pooped or pee or had any accidents or had anything. So this tracker is actually very similar to what veterinary clinics would also use. But I always say that this is also very similar to how humans track their babies nowadays with the apps that they have, where they would track how long they sleep, all the diaper changes, what they fed them, and medicine, all these stuff. So this is actually going to be provided to you guys digitally. So you can use it digitally through your iPad, your phone, and it will also be provided with physical copies, or not physical copies, a way how you can print it into physical copies. And this is kind of what I have here. I'm not sure if you guys can see, probably not, but the physical copy, it basically looks exactly like that. And uh, you can write down all the stuff on there, make all the adjustments that you can. It just looks exactly like that. And then with the potty training guide, which I didn't include on here, but the potty training guide, it comes with all the steps, all the positive reinforcement tips for success, and you can get the physical and digital copy for that as well. So then I just wanted to share with you guys, just in case if this is a lot to remember and it could be overwhelming. This is something that maybe you're like, I don't really understand how I'm going to be able to potty train my puppy, or I need help. I need that extra help. I also do provide help training dogs either virtually in person, or I do board and trains. So that when it comes to virtual and in person, I have the options of helping with puppy beginner program, which is basically the basic commands and helping them managing behaviors like chewing, nipping, barking. We also go over and help with crate training, potty training. It'll be a 5-week session in person or virtually. And within 5 weeks, I meet up with you about 2 to 3 times a week for 5 weeks total. And I help you guys with this. And then there's also the option of socialization and behavioral program, which is more of like the second level or the more advanced, where they already understand the basics, but they need help with socialization to different environments, people, or maybe there's fear, reactivity, or anxiety. Behaviors such as like jumping, pulling on a leash, or resource guarding. I also offer that kind of help and training, and that will be about a 5 weeks, either virtual or in person. Same thing, where I meet up with you 2 to 3 times a week. You can do this with me virtually or in person. And there's the combination program, which is basically a combination of both the beginner and the socialization. I will help you in both aspects, virtually or in person. And these programs, even though it says that those are what's included, I will go according to what your puppy needs, and we will tailor it to what your puppy needs help with. Because what if it might be something that will consist in a beginner and also socialization, and that will become a combination. Or, for example, your puppy's good with all the basics, but they only need help with socialization and behavior, then that's when we'll just focus on socialization and behavior. And then for the board and train or the drop off, it's the same thing. It includes everything from the beginner and the socialization. The only difference is they can either stay with me for 3 weeks, where it's very extensive work. And with extensive work, they actually get a lot more results, and they get better results because they're with me consistently and I get to train them myself. I do all the training, and then after the program is done and over with, I will teach you what I taught them, but it's not going to be over. It's just this. Well, this also applies for the other programs as well. After helping you guys and the program is over, you will have my support, my ongoing support for up to a year after we've completed the program. It's not a year from when you started. It's a year after we complete. You will have my support. You can contact me and I will always support you throughout the way. If any additional training is needed afterwards, and that's when we can talk a little bit assistance and my support during the whole process. So with the board and train, I will do all the training myself and they will stay with me. Or you have the option of doing a drop off or pick up 3 times a week. If you live locally, you can bring them here to me and 3 times a week, and I will take them. It's kind of like a daycare where they're here in the morning, and then you will take them back home, maybe during the afternoon or the evening, whenever you're kind of off work, or you would come and then just take them. So that's kind of how it works, and that's the board and the train and drop off and pick up option. And then as of right now, I know it's very short time frame, but until January 2nd, I am offering free consultation and up to $200 off until January 2nd. This is depending on the program. And in case if you guys are interested, this is a really good deal because I don't know if I'm going to be offering this anymore. But the spots are very limited at the moment. So then I only have certain spots available until January 2nd. And then because you guys also signed up for this free potty training webinar, there's also an additional 20% off promo price off of the price that you already have for up to $200 off. You will get an additional 20% off on top of that as well. Just because you guys signed up for this free training webinar, this is an additional thing that I'm going to be adding on top of that. So then this is the opportunity where I will give you guys the time to ask me any questions that you guys have. And I will try my best to address what I can. And then if you are a little shy to ask me any questions, you can just message it, or you can just ask me through here. Okay, so I am double checking right now. Okay, so the question, how do I make my dog comfortable in a room to seclude him in? So for example, so in order for you to make your dog comfortable, what I would really recommend is to, for example, if you were to put your puppy in the kitchen, and if you do put them in the kitchen, or not the kitchen, the living room, that's where the dog would be secluded. I would put a crate in there. I would put some toys around that area as well. So the crate, the playpen, the food, and the water bowl in that area. So you kind of just make it feel like that's an area that they are going to be staying at a lot and they need to be comfortable at. So then that's what I would do. I would put them there. Make it feel like that is their room. That is the section that they are going to be there for a while. So that's what you would do if it's in the living room. In the bedroom, same thing. You want to put their crate, put their toys, put all their stuff there. You want to make sure that they still feel like they're a part of the family and they're not secluded. So you don't want to close the door on them. You don't want them to feel like they're not anywhere near the family. That way they can feel comfortable, and that they also associate it with a positive, as it's a positive environment. And you don't want to also put them there when they're doing something bad. That will make them feel uncomfortable, and that will make them think that that environment is not safe either. So you want to make sure that they are only going in there when it comes to like downtime, rest time, or if they need to sleep, then that's what you want to associate them with, or just to kind of seclude them there so you can do stuff around the house, but don't use it as like a punishment way either, because then that wouldn't help. Let me see. I think somebody also messaged me, or not message, it was part of the sign up, and it said, um, my dog would do really well one day forward and the next day back, going backwards. So usually when it comes to that case, it's like what I said earlier, that you probably want to go back to square one. You want to start all the way from the basics. Maybe it could be because they have too much free roam. If that is what you're doing, you're letting them roam around the house too much by themselves, or if it's not that you let them roam, they're probably getting too much free range, or they're not being taken out as often. So you might need to take them out more often if they're not doing good one day. Because if one day they're doing good, you kind of have to go back and figure out, why were they doing really good that day? Was it because I was following my schedule? Was it because I was consistent? Or was it because something must have changed, or something caused them to be consistent that way? So then that's what you would want to do, is you would want to go back and revisit what you did that was successful. So for example, I had another person that also messaged me and asked, and another client also asked the same question: what if I'm not home? What if I'm not home to take the puppy out? What do I do? I usually would recommend that you have somebody come midday to take out the puppy. Or if not, if you live close by, I mean, if you work close by, come during your lunch to take them out to go potty. Because just that just that small little time frame will make a really big difference. And you want to make sure that they become potty trained a lot faster and better as well, and have less accidents if you prevent it from happening by coming to take them out consistently. It's just going to be for a while. You might have to hire a dog sitter or a dog walker, somebody who comes in. It's not going to happen all the time. Once you're not going to have to keep hiring them, and you're not going to have to keep hiring them forever, unless if you choose to. But it's just going to be until they're fully potty trained. You can do that. The other alternative is you can also litter train them. You can actually litter train them with like regular cat litter, or regular litter, and well, usually not really cat litter. It's more of like a really I'm drawing a blank on them, but you can litter train them, and they will learn how to poop or pee in that specific tray. Or if not that tray, you can also purchase fake turf, or fake grass turf, and use that as a replacement for potty pads, and train them to poop and pee on there as well. That will also help a lot. That will also take the edge off of them. And if you also don't want them to be using potty pads, you can do that as well, which is the turf. And then let me see here. And then I sent since there's not a lot of questions right now, I think this is all that I'm going to be sharing about. This is all that I'm going to be talking. But I will be sending you guys the free potty training tracker, and the free potty training guide. And for those of you that might have missed because you guys weren't able to come, I will send that, and I will also send a recorded version of this. Hopefully I'm able to get it, the recorded version of this, so that you guys can use it as reference and reflect back to it. But thank you guys so much for participating and coming to join us with this webinar. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, you guys can feel free to reach out to me. There are ways that you guys can get in touch, that you guys can connect with me. Okay, so you guys can connect with us directly at, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and so it's all Voo for Pets. So Instagram, Facebook, directly through my website. You can get in touch with me through email and also give me a phone call. But thank you guys so much for participating. I appreciate it. Have a good day.